How do we support allergies naturally? That's the question of today's Ask a Doc. I'm Dr. Michael Smith, a naturopathic physician who is passionate about helping you feel better as naturally and holistically as possible. Now, when we talk about allergies, it's pretty evident that when springtime comes around, everyone starts sneezing, they're not feeling well, there's pollen in the air, and we react to it. That's one of the more common allergies, along with other things, that we experience as a culture, as a society. Now, allergies can be really prevalent and really debilitating in many ways. I remember traveling recently and got a really bad case of allergies, and I was congested, my eyes were kind of itchy and watery, I was sneezing, and just not feeling well. It doesn't help us feel well. We are not as productive at work. Things are not as fun. So how can we address it without just popping pills all the time or taking medicine? There's a lot that we can do. Before we dive into how we can treat it, though, I want to clarify and help us understand the differences between allergies and sensitivities. They're kind of words that are tossed around a lot, but and often kind of confused, but they are different from each other. Allergies are when we are truly allergic to something. It is resulting is a more of a short-term reaction. So, for example, one of the more common ones is peanut allergy. When somebody is truly allergic to peanuts, if they eat peanuts or peanut butter with with peanuts in it, their throat might swell up, they might have a hard time breathing, they get rashes on their hands, all of the congestion kind of symptoms as well. It's a pretty fast reaction. That's an allergic reaction. We often experience this with seasonal allergies as well. Now, allergies come from an antibody in our body that's called IgE, or immunoglobulin E. E as an elephant. IgE antibodies create that allergic response. We have these food particles or pollen or plants or whatever that get into our body. Our immune system sounds off some alarm bells. We're like, what's going on? The IgE antibodies come in. They help bind it and to these invaders, so to speak, and create this reaction. That's not fun. That's an allergy. A sensitivity we might often equate to allergies, but they're actually quite different. Sensitivities happen on the range of maybe hours to days rather than seconds to minutes. So if you eat peanuts, you have a peanut allergy, you're going to react pretty quickly. If you're sensitive to a certain food, you might react a little bit. It might cause longer reaction. Lead to like more general systemic symptoms, not feeling well, gut problems, bloating, gas, just not feeling well overall. That's a sensitivity. Sensitivities are mediated by something called IgG antibodies, G as in goat. So IgG does sensitivities. And then there's things like intolerances, where somebody literally is not able to digest a certain food. One of the most common is lactose. Someone who's lactose intolerant means their body is intolerant of lactose. They cannot digest lactose. They don't have the enzymes or the machinery in their body to digest that. There's some differences in terminology. And when we're looking at someone with allergies, we want to figure out what is going on with in their body that's causing this reaction to happen. Now, there's the different ways of approaching food allergies versus like seasonal allergies. I'm going to focus right now on food allergies because they are pretty common. Food allergies and sensitivities, and now I'm going to kind of clump them together and focus on how we treat them kind of similarly, even though they are different. So it's I'm recording this in June of 2024, and next month is the Olympics in Paris. And personally, I'm really excited about that because I love the Olympics. And when somebody wins as a winner, there you can either be gold medal, silver medal, or bronze medal winners. And there's the podium. The same kind of medal ranking, so to speak, applies to allergy testing. There's different ways that we can test, but there's really a gold standard for testing for allergies. And that is really the elimination and reintroduction. Elimination means we cut that food out of our diet for a good couple months. And then we reintroduce it, maybe intentionally, maybe accidentally, when we just happen to eat something with that in it. And then we notice how we feel. If we feel okay, then maybe we didn't have an allergy after all. But if we avoid it, we eliminate that from our diet for quite a while, we reintroduce it, and we react to it for whatever that reaction looks like, then that's a positive test. That's the gold medal answer. No testing needed, no blood work, no skin pricks, nothing. That's the gold medal answer. It's brilliant. Is it easy to do? Not always. It takes effort to eliminate something from our diet. But my experience with the patients that I've seen is that the people who eliminate something from their diet will start feeling better pretty quickly. And they'll notice that change of they cut out dairy or they cut out grains or cut out other allergens. They'll feel better pretty quickly and notice that difference right away. The silver and bronze medal answers of how we figure out what the allergen is can be clumped into different testing, such as blood work. There's skin prick testing where an allergist doctor will literally prick the skin and put a little bit of that allergen in it and basically look for an immune response. Think of hives, or when you get stung by a bee, that really red, itchy kind of histamine reaction. That's what they're looking for. And when I was younger, I had a skin prick testing. They usually do it on the back. At least when I did it, it was on my back. And they just prick in this little grid, and they draw lines, and they mark out which one is which, so they can keep track of the different reactions. And then you come back a couple days later, and the doctor will say, oh, this reaction looks as spread or looks red, really red compared to this one that doesn't look as red. They'll grade it and they'll say, oh, you are allergic to this or not to this. For kids, that can be really uncomfortable, really hard. You can't give them Benadryl to help with that reaction, because that's the point, is you want the reaction. So blood work is sometimes easier. It costs a little bit more money. IgE testing is often covered by insurance. IgG testing for food sensitivities is often not covered by insurance. So there's some pros and cons to that as well. So we really need to figure out what's going on with the allergens and sensitivities inside our body. After that, we can start looking at our diet. What are we eating that might be causing that allergic reaction? We talked about elimination and reintroduction. However, there's another thing that we can consider is cross-reactivity. Now, it's a really interesting concept that when I share it with patients, they kind of mind blown, is that when we eat certain foods, there's proteins and molecules in that food. Let's just say an apple, for example. When you eat an apple, there's certain proteins in that apple. Now, there's other foods and maybe other pollens or seasonal allergens that have those same proteins or the same molecules in them. So even though we might only be allergic to apples, we might be sensitive to the other foods or the other environmental allergens that contain the proteins that are also found in apples. So you might be more allergic or sensitive to actually way more foods than just apples, even though that's the main one that was tested. Now, one of the questions I get frequently actually is, if I cut something out of my diet, can I bring it back? Now, I think it's when we eat something that's causing a reaction, whether it's an allergy or a sensitivity, there's going to be a reaction to that. And that kind of creates a little bit of, for the lack of a better word, like inflammation, even though that might not be fully correct. I like to think about it like that. And little by little, they like accumulate. The more we eat it, the more that's going to build up to this like threshold line. And once we cross that threshold line, whatever it is, we might start seeing symptoms from eating that allergen thing or being exposed to it. But if we do it just once, it'll like pop up and then go back down, and then pop up and then go back down, and pop up and go back down, and not really ever get close to that threshold line, so that when we, if we are allergic to it, something, or sensitive to something, and we avoid it, we're really good at avoiding it, we happen to eat that thing just once, we might be okay. It might not throw us into a huge loop. But would we want to eat it every day? No. If you have celiac disease, that's a different story for another day, but you'd want to avoid wheat and gluten altogether, like no exceptions. That's just kind of a no-go. So that's kind of different, and we'll save that topic for another day. What other things can we do other than diet and avoiding and testing and all these other things to manage and support allergens? One of the things that I like to use are homeopathics. They're small doses of plants or minerals or other substances, microdoses that are used to stimulate our body's ability to heal itself. One of the companies that I really like is called Butturbur. They offer this product called Allergy Calm. It's a great product. There are several different things in it that help address lots of different allergy type symptoms. I'll put a link to this in the video description below in case you're interested in looking more into it. I like this product and similar things to it. And if for patients that come see me, I can use this maybe as a basis, but then drill down and find more specific homeopathics that are more targeted to them and their symptoms. There are lots of some supplements that we can consider. One of the most common that you might have read about online or heard about is N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. NAC is involved in that immune reaction. It turns to glutathione and is involved with our body's ability to react to allergens. So it's a great supplement to take. And then there's lots of herbs that we can use. As a naturopathic doctor, one of the principles of naturopathic medicine that I follow is the vis medicatrix naturae, or employ the healing power of nature. I think one of the ways we can do that is by bringing nature, literally these herbs, into our body. And I think our nature is designed with different plants that have different constituents in them to stimulate our body's ability to heal itself. There's some of these that are really great include nettle, ginger, turmeric, garlic, things like that. One of the most amazing herbs that's can be used for allergies is Butturbur. Now, Butturbur, otherwise the Latin name is Pedicides, but Butturbur, the common name for this plant, was used in a trial against Zyrtec. They did a clinical study with Zyrtec, which is an antihistamine, otherwise known as Cetirizine. So Zyrtec versus Butturbur, a kind of a head-to-head trial. Which one is going to reduce allergy symptoms the best? And guess what? They were about the same. Zyrtec, this antihistamine drug that you can get over the counter, I believe, and Butturbur, a plant, they did the same thing as far as reducing allergy symptoms. I'll put a link in that study so you can look at it more. It's really cool. And I really like tapping the wisdom of nature because there's many things that we can use. If we don't want to take an antihistamine with any possible side effects that might cause, we can use nature. It's awesome. I love it. So my job as a naturopathic medical doctor is to help patients navigate all of these options of which testing is optimal for them, what they might be allergic to, how to overcome the symptoms, which natural remedies might be better than others, and so forth. So if you're interested in getting some naturopathic support for your allergies, there's 2 places you can go to find a naturopathic doctor nearest you. The number one is naturopathic.org, the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. You go online, they have a Find a Doctor portal. The other one is the Institute for Natural Medicine, or findanaturaldoc.org, I believe it is. Either see that or .com. I think it's .org. Findanaturaldoc.doctor.org. I'll put those links down below too. I believe that naturopathic medicine has a great ability to support people with allergies. There's so many tools in our toolbox that we can draw from, and I love using them on a regular basis to help patients with allergies. It's something I do quite often, and it's a rewarding experience to see them feeling better, living better, and able to do more with all of the things that they want to and love to do. So that is my response to the question, how do we support allergies naturally, on Ask a Doc. Again, I hope you found something beneficial from this, and if you did, consider liking and subscribing so that you can hear more of this amazing content delivered to you directly. Thanks so much for being here, and keep being awesome.